In our Sunrise Smart Start this morning, a man arriving at Rochester General Hospital by private vehicle with multiple gunshot wounds to his lower body.
Police say his injuries are non-life threatening. The shooting took place on J Street around 10:30 last night. Police ask that anyone with information call 911.
In developing news, Christopher Williams, the man accused of committing 2 separate murders, pleading not guilty in court yesterday morning. Williams is charged for the murder of Marcus Bennett from July 16th on 6th Street. He is also charged in the murder of Kenneth Johnson, the man who was shot Tuesday on Roycroft Drive. Williams is on parole for a 2015 arson conviction after intentionally starting a fire at a location with someone inside. A Black Rochester firefighter stood before City Hall yesterday to tell the community why he intends to sue both the City of Rochester and Rochester's fire department.
Jerry Jones, a 14-year veteran of RFD, says he's upset about 2 things. First, he says his captain took him to a party that, according to Jones, was mocking African Americans. His other concern is originally Jones was trying to settle the problem in-house, but he says the response from the city and RFD leadership was inadequate. Jones says Captain Jeff Kerway forced him and 2 subordinates to go to a private party with him, and at the party there were 2 Juneteenth celebration flags with buckets of Kentucky Fried Chicken nearby. He says that the chief got a party favor bag containing cognac and a Juneteenth commemorative cup. Jones has filed a notice of claim which basically says he's intending to sue the City of Rochester and the RFD.
In a statement from the union that represents Rochester firefighters on Thursday, they say, quote, the Rochester Firefighters Association, IAFF Local 1071, finds today's allegations regarding events during the incident of July 7th extremely disturbing. Our union has 0 tolerance for racist attitudes and behaviors either on or off our jobs. We will await the findings and details of a full investigation of this matter before making further comment or taking responsive actions.
On Roycroft Drive last night, a 2-story home catching fire. Officials on scene say there were no occupants in the building and no firefighters were injured while working to put the fire out. They said the fire took nearly 20 minutes to get under control, and the cause of that fire is under investigation.
The Children's Agenda sounding the alarm due to a lack of child care in a new report. The report shows New York State has lost a large number of child care centers due to pandemic-related closures. Between January 2020 and July 2020, more than 3,500 child care programs closed their doors. This meaning 10,000 less children have access to care. Monroe County has lost a net total of 69 child care facilities in that time frame.
Mayor Malik Evans announcing on Thursday the city will host the 2022 New York State Canal Conference. The conference taking place between October 2nd and 4th at the Strath Allen Hotel. This will be the first time it's being held here in Rochester. Evans says the event is a great opportunity to showcase the Rock the Riverway initiative and share future plans for the canal and the river.
The CDC updating its COVID guidance to loosen a number of its health recommendations. According to the update, if you get COVID, you still need to isolate for 5 days, but instead of having to wear a mask around others for 5 more days, you can do an at-home test on day 6 and 8. If negative and you have no symptoms, you can take the mask off. The CDC also says you no longer need to quarantine for possible exposure regardless of your vaccination status. They do still say you should wear a mask for 10 days after exposure when around others and take a test 5 days after exposure or sooner if you have symptoms.
Monroe County Executive Adam Bello and top county medical leaders have announced County Health Commissioner Dr. Michael Mendoza will continue his role for 6 more years. Leaders applauding Dr. Mendoza for his response throughout the COVID pandemic and being a collaborative leader for public health. Also commending him for his focus on families and children in our community. They say his expertise was especially needed when explaining government decisions.
In other news, yesterday was the last day of Bill's training camp for St. John Fisher University.
To finish camp, some fans used this opportunity to give back at a pop-up shop outside of the Pittsford pub. Selling all things Bills and merchandise come from Del Reed, the owner of 26 Shirts. Reed is also responsible for coining the term Bills Mafia. Since 2013, the organization has raised more than $1 million for those in need. The owner of the pub says nearly 500 people came out to support Reed and 26 Shirts.
Checking in now with James on the weather. Bills camp is over, James, but there's still plenty to do in Rochester this weekend. Maybe you're going golfing.
Yes, maybe golfing, and I can't believe Bills. I should have done a Bills forecast for the game tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a preseason game. I think they're playing the Colts, if I remember what my assignment editor told me yesterday in the morning meeting. I think it was a 1 o'clock game, something like that, Saturday afternoon. Just a picture-perfect day, not only for golf, maybe get the round in the morning, then see the Bills play in the afternoon. Why not? I don't think you'll see Josh Allen maybe necessarily, but you'll see some players out there since it's a preseason game. I'll have the 8-day forecast at the end of the show. Allie?
All right, James, thank you very much. Looking at the roads one more time. Things still looking good out there this morning. It's been clean all morning, and story remains the same. No accidents. The main arteries are on time, so should be a smooth ride into work.
Going to the state level now, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is suing State Attorney General Letitia James for the denial of state-paid defense during his sexual harassment case. In his lawsuit, the 64-year-old Queens native wants relief for his public officer's law rights. Cuomo's suit asks the court to vacate James's denial, declare she has a conflict of interest, and allow him to use private counsel paid for by the state. James responded on Twitter saying, quote, "New Yorkers shouldn't have to pay for Andrew Cuomo's legal bills. Sexual harassment isn't one of your official responsibilities as governor."
Governor Kathy Hochul taking action to try and bring semiconductor manufacturing to New York. Hochul signing green chips legislation, a first-of-its-kind bill in the nation. The goal to attract semiconductor manufacturers to the state, ensuring at least 500 new jobs and $3 billion in qualified investments over a 10-year span. This while lowering emissions related to chip production. Hochul says it's time to bring these kinds of production resources back to the U.S.
With the prices of everything going up, nearly $44.5 million in federal funding will be going to struggling New York families to cover back-to-school and nutritional costs. Governor Kathy Hochul announcing beginning today the Pandemic Emergency Assistance Fund will provide New Yorkers financial assistance for struggling families on public assistance. Families on public assistance will receive a one-time payment of $214 for each child in their households from the ages of 3 to 17 and $150 for children under 3.
The Office of Cannabis Management announcing yesterday it will begin accepting applications for conditional adult use retail dispensary licenses in 2 weeks. Applications for those licenses become available August 25th for those who have a marijuana-related conviction occurring before the passage of the Marijuana Regulation and Tax Act or have a close relative with a marijuana conviction in New York State.
In national news, more information is coming out about the search warrant at former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. It was Attorney General Merrick Garland who approved the decision to seek a search warrant for the estate. The search is part of a Justice Department investigation into Trump's handling of White House documents, including classified information as he left office. Garland is now asking a federal court to unseal the warrant, which may provide new details about the search.
And after the FBI's search at Mar-a-Lago, anti-law enforcement rhetoric is growing even louder. Yesterday, an armed man in Ohio allegedly attempted to breach an FBI field office, leading to a shootout where the suspect was killed. Police say the man drove up to the building in Cincinnati a little after 9 yesterday morning, armed with a nail gun and an AR-15. Gunfire was exchanged between the suspect and officers on scene. Now, this attack comes after the search at Mar-a-Lago prompted calls for civil war and violence on social media. Here's what some people might be talking about at the water cooler this morning. The Sabres announcing earlier this summer that goaltender Ryan Miller's number 30 would be retired by the team next season. The team now has officially selected a date for the jersey retirement, and Miller's name and number will be hung up in KeyBank Center during a pregame ceremony on Thursday, January 19th, 2023. Very cool to see that.
Nice.
Weird to be looking towards January, though. I heard that, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, you guys know I love fall.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
But I'm not totally ready for winter yet, James.
No, you don't want to. Right, you want to skip over your favorite season.
Right. We can hold off a little bit. If it means having a longer summer, so be it.
Yep, we got to savor these days. You don't get too many of them. Saturday and Sunday looking great, upper 70s to around 80 degrees. Gets a little bit busier as we get into next week, but otherwise not too bad. So much going on this weekend. Do either of you have any plans to get out this weekend?
You know,
get outside,
out and about, do a few walks with the pup. I think that's kind of something we'll do.
Find some water, maybe.
Might go see a friend in Buffalo on Sunday. Our former reporter Alexa Ross. She is there for the Colts and Bills game, James. We were just talking about it, so she's reporting there. So should be a nice weekend for that. Yeah,
that's great. Yeah, a lot of a lot of preseason football going on this weekend, and really no issues across really the Northeast. If you're doing any traveling within the Great Lakes, maybe some rain showers to watch out for Sunday, but looking good otherwise.
Awesome, James. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching News 8 at Sunrise.
Our next update is in 30 minutes. CBS Mornings is next.